Hey everybody, Blind Man Travels here, and today we're at a big one for me. This is one I've been wanting to do, well, pretty much ever since I was a kid. But we're at Space Center Houston, home of the Johnson Space Center, where astronauts train to go on missions, and where mission control is conducting of missions. So I'm just here on the outside. I'm gonna pan around here. But yes, I've been wanting to do this one since I was a little kid. So let's go on in. Okay, everybody, I've just gotten inside what looks like a visitor center here. So I'm just gonna do a pan around here. This area looks like a gift shop. This is where I just got into here. And it's dark once you first get in, but once you let your eyes adjust, you should be able to see it there. So, or at least some of us can see it. Maybe not me, but that's why we're here. Let's see what we can find here. Or not see, in my case. Hit like and hit subscribe while you're here. I've noticed that YouTube is starting to light up on the like and the subscribe button when they say hit like or hit subscribe. And I'm just going to look at stuff here, and hopefully y'all can read it here. So I'm kind of zoomed in so we can make out print. That looks like futuristic spacecraft design. I think that's probably for the Constellation program, if I'm not mistaken. So this is all about solar panels here, I guess. That's what this exhibit's about. So this is all about the International Space Center, or International Space Station. And take a look at that. So that is the suit iteration that's been used since the space shuttle days. It's based upon the Apollo pressure suit. The only difference being with this one, you put on the, instead of having a zipper on the back, you have pants, and then you have a hard top there. But it's the same idea as far as water cooling is concerned. That's pretty cool. That looks almost like a Flight Articles pressure suit there. If not, it's a pretty good approximation. Looks like it's a space station, because it has that fuselage shape there.
Used the Legos to make a Van de Graaff generator, and this allowed me to have a source of static electric voltage and I did a lot of observations with water and other
Playing games
solutions,
with water
making
and
these Taylor
microgravity.
cones in the weightless environment. And then one time I was giving a presentation to university level students, and we started talking, and we had this collaboration, and using my data with graduate students, published a paper in Phys Rev Letters. And the neatest aspect about this paper is in the experimental section. It says roller and belt Van de Graaff generator was made on space station out of Legos. And it's like, wow, Phys Rev Letters, peer-reviewed scientific publication. And part of the data came from a piece of equipment that was made from Legos.
Isn't that cool?
That's science of opportunity.
All right, this is supposed to be like a potential for an EVA suit that is hard. Instead of having a like cloth on it, it's a completely hard-bodied suit. There are advantages and disadvantages to doing it that way. But anyways, there that is. Let's see what we have over here. Look, there's the moon. Right over there, guys. As in, we choose to go to the moon in this decade to do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Wow, I'd say that almost looks like an Apollo era suit there. Just based upon what I'm seeing. Let's see what the signage says. Oh yeah, that's Pete Conrad's pressure suit, I think, from Apollo 12, the most fun-loving crew in space. They actually on launch, or shortly after launch, they got hit by 2 lightning strikes that rode the contrail from right down to the launch pad. And it threw all their electrical systems off of alignment in the command module, and they have to reset it. Let's see what's over here. All right. I think this is about... Okay, this is Apollo 7. Because first of all, that's the command module right there, schematic of it. And there's a Saturn 1B rocket, which is smaller than the Saturn V that was used to go to the moon. And what this is showing right here during the Apollo program, this is what the crews wore on board the spacecraft when they weren't wearing the pressure suits. So it's just a coverall there, pretty much with lots of pockets, which came in handy. So yeah. Rolashara was the commander of the mission. He had flown on Mercury and Gemini. Interesting fact about Apollo 7 is all the crew got colds, so they refused to wear their pressure suit helmets during re-entry because they had to blow through their noses to relieve the pressure on their ears. So that's a fascinating anecdote, and they got pretty feisty because they didn't want to do all the experiments that Mission Control wanted them to do during the mission. So it was the last flight for all of them. Okay. Again, this is an Apollo. That's Buzz Aldrin, by the way. I know that one because I've seen it hundreds of times. And that's Apollo 11 after splashdown in the South Pacific Ocean. And there's the trajectory for the moon displayed very roughly there. It was basically a figure 8. And then there's a picture of the Apollo 11 Saturn V during the launch from the launch tower, captured by automatic cameras. And this is a hazmat suit that the first 3 crews that came back from the lunar surface had to wear. So fortunately, 13 did not have to wear this because they didn't land on the moon, but Apollos 11, 12, and 14 had to wear this, and then they had to go into quarantine for 2 weeks because no one knew if they brought back anything live from the moon. So think of a movie like The Andromeda Strain, and just imagine that in real life. So there you go. It's basically like coveralls, but it's got like that breathing mask there. But there was a weakness in the system because they had to actually, after they were splashed down in the Pacific each time, the Navy frogmen had to actually open the hatch and throw the suits in, and then close the hatch before the crew could put on the suits. So that was one thing they failed to think about. And that's Michael Collins, who was the command module pilot for Apollo 11. And not many people talk about him, or when they talk about him, they talk about him from missing out on going to the moon because he was not assigned for the landing. He was supposed to stay in the command module and make sure that spacecraft was functioning within parameters. Now, the head of the astronaut office, Deke Slayton, did actually offer him command of a later Apollo mission, but he declined it. So he could have had a chance to go to the moon himself later. So this is Apollo 12. Again, the most fun-loving crew of the Apollo program. Just watch the movie From the Earth to the Moon, or the movie series, or the HBO series From the Earth to the Moon, and you'll get a pretty good idea of what that crew is like, especially when compared to the business-like crew on Apollo 11. Okay, this is supposed to be a model of the spacecraft here. So let's take a look at this here. So that is a replica of a Constellation Orion spacecraft. Notice it's like 1.5 times the size of Apollo, even though it looks a lot like Apollo, because it's specifically designed for a crew of 4 or 5, depending on where you're going. We'll go up these stairs here. So that's what the mock-up, yeah, that's pretty cool there. That's supposed to be a mock-up of what the internal volume of the spacecraft is supposed to look like. But yeah, the hatches may be a little bit bigger, but yeah. It's like Apollo, but a little bigger in many ways. So this is another mock-up here. Oh, look at this. This is an iteration on the rocket engine for the space shuttle that was being used for the Constellation launch vehicle. It's a more powerful version there, but that's also based upon the F1 engine from the Saturn V. Let's walk to the moon, guys.
So, 10 vor, wir können langsam dahin. Ja.
Oh, I thought that was just a screen. That looks like that's a 3-dimensional thing up there. That's pretty cool. I think that big one right there by the South Pole of the moon is called Shackleton Crater, after the famed explorer of Antarctica. So that's Shackleton Crater there. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Let's see what we have over here. I wanted to check this out. Okay, well, I can't really go up those stairs, so that's all right. Anyway, that's supposed to be a cupola. It's based upon the cupola that's on the International Space Station. And the reason why is all those black parts there are windows. So you get a heck of a view from the space station. And here's some footage from the space station, it looks like here. Alrighty, guys. See what else we can find just wandering around in here. Yep, Artemis. So that's the spacecraft right up there. So this is the plan for the lunar space station that would orbit around the moon as a staging area for moon landings, and also before sending crews back to Earth. So think of it like a gateway or something like that, like an airport. You're almost there, but you're not there. Okay, this is cool. Remember I talked about Shackleton Crater at the South Pole? Lighting conditions are not always the best there. This isn't like back in the 60s when we were only going to the moon for up to 3 days. This is plans for going for a longer time, so lighting conditions are not always going to be the greatest. Especially in the parts of the crater that are in the shadow. Well, that's cool. If you look at the chair, it says Capcom, which is the name for the capsule communicator. It's a holdover from the 60s. And of course there is the flight director. So this is what the modern mission control looks like compared to the old one from the Apollo era, which we will see later. For all intents and purposes, it looks like a bunch of networked PCs. It takes a team. Engineers, nutritionists, trainers, psychologists, scientists, mission control teams, communication specialists. Okay, how about you? Or how about me? I want to go to space. Can I fly the spacecraft? Oh. I could be wrong, but I think this was a photo that was taken in the vehicle assembly building in Florida. But look at that detail there for maintaining the spacecraft while it's on top of the launch vehicle. See what we can find here. Oh, I think I see how this works. So this is another low fidelity model. Give you an idea what the hatch is going to be like. Hop inside Orion. Okay, well, we'll go around here. Oh, it's a bench. Okay. Cool. But that gives you a better idea of what it's going to be like in the Orion spacecraft. So that's a launch seat position. And it looks like we've got a bunch of equipment bays and storage areas here, including down here at the bottom. There's probably places where you could string up sleeping hammocks or something like that. And there's probably some sort of a rudimentary toilet on board. Probably better than what was available during Apollo, but it's still probably not that glamorous. Sometimes spaceflight is not glamorous. Still, I'd go. Would you? Mark in the comments if you would put up with it to go on this mission, even if it's just to fly around the moon. Meet the Artemis crew, the Artemis 2 crew here. So yeah, this was announced a while back who the members of the crew are. Yeah, a little PR there. NASA always needs PR, especially since the 60s, since NASA no longer has James Webb to talk to politicians on Capitol Hill about funding. Shoot for the moon, Snoopy. That's funny they say that because Apollo 10, the command module's name was Charlie Brown, and the lunar module was Snoopy. And the head guys in Washington didn't want to see a Apollo spacecraft named Charlie Brown or Snoopy. They wanted names with a little bit more gravitas. So it's interesting that they would say that now, considering the names of spacecraft on Apollo 10. Of course, Margaret Hamilton. And I guess this is supposed to be a realistic representation here of all the coding that had to be done for the Apollo computer system. Let's see what else I can find here. I'm just going at random here, guys. Okay, so there's the mission profile there. I wonder if this is like a hands-on thing. Oh. Oh, it is kind of, I think. Look at this. Mm. Returning to the moon. See, there's the spacecraft on top of the rocket there, supposedly. And then this is the space station. And that's supposed to be how you actually land on the moon, with some help from SpaceX, apparently. So again, it's like this. Let's push the entire rocket. See, there we go. Docked up with the space station. At least that's half the mission profile. It doesn't cover the return. It isn't like you go back onto the rocket again. If anything, you just go for the ocean. Anyway, that's pretty cool. I notice though that they're still using surplus shuttle era hardware, just with an upgraded variant of the engine and an upgraded variant of the solid booster. And of course, it's a traditional rocket stack system instead of the asymmetric system that was used for the space shuttle era. Anyways, we're gonna blindly wander and see what we can find here. What did my blind eye see over there? Oh, look at that. That's an Apollo era lunar lander. That's what we like to see. No. That's the descent engine right there. It's so delicate there. All in Mylar. And those are reaction control thrusters there that are set up in quads on the spacecraft to make it maneuverable, especially during the landing phase. Because basically what you're doing when you land on the moon is you're trying to land on a column of thrust from your big rocket engine. See what's happening in here. This is a store. I guess it's the gift shop. are stanchions right there. Let's see if I can get in. It doesn't look like they're being used very much. I'm just curious what we have in here. Oh, keychains, I think. Interesting. Okay. Not sure if that's my thing, but okay. Oh, these are like stickers for. Looks like these are all boys' names. Or not all boys' names, but they start with an S. Let's see if we can find the N or the R. If I was a kid, I'd get that, put it up in my room. This looks like a patch here. And look, an Apollo air pressure suit here. Gotta get the first part to show up here. Look, it says NASA on it. It's a keychain though. Oh, fridge magnets. See, that's a fridge magnet right there. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh. It's another key ring, but it's of the NASA meatball, the actual ball. I don't think it's like a stress ball, but that's pretty cool. These look like almost winter jackets, or clothing at least. wow, look at this. It looks like a plushie of a pressure suit, or actually, I know what it is. It's a chew toy or something for a dog. That's what that is. And these are dogs. But unlike Leica, they'll come back. Leica being the first animal to be able to fly in space for the Soviet Union back in 1957 on Sputnik 2. But she expired 5 hours after launch due to overheating. So these have got to be models or toys. Kind of remind me of some of the things I played with when I was a kid. Huh. That's more high fidelity model right there. All right, this is pretty cool. What's this? Oh, this is the infamous ice cream sandwich that's not really a sandwich, or that's not really ice cream that's eaten from space. It was just a marketing idea. Oh, freeze-dried strawberries. That wouldn't be so bad, but I remember having these ice cream sandwiches. It's like $8 for one of these. Let me see if I can find anything else worthwhile. Vanilla. Oh, let's see. Failure is not an option. That became such a big marketing thing, even though Gene Kranz, the flight director, never said that during his career. It was only after Apollo 13 came out and the line from the movie became famous that it's been picked up. Oh, this one's kind of cool. Pluto, 1930 to 2006. Never forget, that's when Pluto lost its classification as a planet. Again, these look more like some of the models I'd play with as a kid. More travels coming soon. To see the video where I visited the Apollo Era Historic Mission Control, click right there. To see the video where I found a restaurant owned by a blind chef, click right there. Again, I'm not sure where it's going to be because I am blind.